All right, Case. So let me ask you a question, man. When's the last time that you had your gut checked out? we're, we're having a
The
little
question.
health. We're having a little health talk to start.
Uh-huh.
Okay, dude. I
I
don't
would say
know.
what, a year ago?
I
Probably.
know. I know. I'm hitting you out of nowhere with this, but man, let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you something. So for the last few days, I have had a very weird stomach ache pain in my
Mm.
right side of my
Oh
stomach.
no.
And you know when you become a WebMD expert and you start reading
No,
different
no, don't do
things
that. Don't
and
do
it's
that.
the
Yeah,
end of the world.
that's the
So
number one thing they tell you not to do.
I don't know if right now I'm sitting literally here doing this podcast with appendicitis. I don't know if I have gallstones. I or if I just have gas. So if you think I have gas, just put a 1 there on the chat and let me know. But on a serious note, Kay, what I do want to start the show with, man, have you seen any reviews for the OneXPlayer that is
Mm.
about to be released, or it's currently on pre-order right now, but it's making its way towards everybody's hands? I think it releases on April 15th. I got a link right
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
second and I'll show it here. Have you seen any reviews on it? Have you heard anything? Because this is another
I've
yet Intel based device.
Yeah. So I will tell you, I would be more excited about it, but as you know, the claw has clawed its way into people's lives, clawed its way into people's psyche, and it didn't do such a good job of clawing its way in there. So now,
Yeah.
anytime I hear Intel, I'm like, let's see some reviews. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I haven't seen it, but on the flip side, I should be excited. I should be excited because the company that makes it, well, the parent company is OneXPlayer, but the subsidiary is AOK Zoe. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
yes, they are the same company. So the stuff that's in there, the hardware shared, the same company makes this guy. And they just released new software, well, a software update to give me new interesting things. So, and I actually, now that I think of it, it's probably because they were prepping for that guy. Because there's a lot of features that have been added, some that I can use, some that I can't. They speak a lot to the to Intel processors like setting TDP ranges and CPU boosts and things like that, specifically with Intel spoken. So this guy just got an update, and the cool thing, I think I was telling you this in the DMs, the cool thing about this update is not only did it come with new plethora of features, they're English, they're putting English on everything. They also gave a quick access to trainers.
Cool.
Right off of the command. You know how every handheld has this little command line, or not command line, but the command center, if you will, which is the overlay that you can click a button and it shows up over the game. This time, the recent update, not only does it give you control of TDP, not only does it give you control of the RGBs and all of the stuff, it gives you access to gyros, all the stuff that it does there. It also now, if you have a game that it recognizes, it'll go to Fling trainers and download the trainer that matches the game you're playing, so you can basically start power using it.
That is pretty cool. And let me tell you, coincidentally, you're bringing that up, right? And in this episode, which is our 30th episode, Kay, all right, I conveniently named it, all right, a special name because of just what you just said right now, okay? And it's no worries.
It's serendipitous, right? Serendipitous. You bring up the OneXPlayer when I have a OneXPlayer software.
Yes, and the reason it's called No Worries here on our celebratory 30th episode is because it's true. You know, with all the news with the microtransactions, with Dragon's Dogma 2 and everybody barking up a tree, I didn't even think twice about it.
Dragon's Dogma 2 as well today. I want to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2.
We
really want to talk about it, but yes, continue.
We will. But I didn't even worry about it or anything because I knew that WeMod was in our back pocket and I knew that flinging trainers were a thing. So, all right, you want me to pay for the fast travel? Nah, I think I'll figure out how to do it myself. You see what I'm saying? So that's the beauty of the PC space. But Kay, to go back on this One X player, I know that for sure. MJ Dark is probably going to get one. He's probably already salivating to receive it. I think also, I'm not sure, but did he also get the eGPU? Because there's a bundle that you can get. You can get the eGPU and the One X1 bundled, which, hey, there you go. That's your grown man Switch kind of device there. If that's what you're looking for, that's pretty cool.
Good combination, yeah.
But Kay, looking at the reviews, I think that again, the hardware is being held down a little bit by the Intel side of the house. I think that Intel is slowly but surely trying to mature its tools, but it's not there yet. And I think that these devices, whenever you hear that they have Intel, you're kind of rolling your eyes at the moment. You know what I'm saying?
They just got it in the game, you know. Well, okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to say they just got it in the game because they've been here for years, right? Don't call them a comeback. But in this specific space, they have not been competing against AMD forever, right? They basically ceded ground for years and let AMD kind of become the reference design. I'm happy they're here. You know, even if they're kind of shoddy in their execution in the short term, I'm hoping that soon enough we'll start seeing some magic from them. What do you think?
I think so too, man. I'm really optimistic about Intel. I hope that they do good because, like always, we always kind of advertise that more competition is good in the space. So I certainly hope so. I hope that MJ Dark, when he gets his, I know he'll do some type of unboxing and showcase on his channel. So it'll be great to invite him back on and maybe he can discuss the device with us and tell us how Intel is. And I like to see where they are in 6 months from now. You know what I'm saying? I think that'll be. I think that.
So have you checked out some of those reviews? By the way, it's got some interesting issues.
Yeah. The biggest complaint that I saw two complaints. I saw one of them being that the software was a little finicky, to be honest with you, because I think it's in some beta version of it for this particular device. And then the second thing actually has to do with the actual I guess I gotta call them Joy-Cons, right? Because that's what they are. With the little Joy-Cons, that there's actually people that are kind of I forgot who was the reviewer, was a little disappointed by the build quality. That was a little surprising to hear.
That's odd. That's odd.
He said that the plastic felt a little cheap. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I don't know. I guess we would need hands-on to really know.
I would like a more hands-on, somebody with hands-on. So maybe MJ Dark, when you get your hands on it for a while, you can come and chat with us. Pause. Keep your hands to yourself. you can come and chat with us about it. The weird thing that I heard that I thought was interesting was, you know, there's the higher version and the lower version, a la the Z1 and Z1 Extreme. In this instance, the price to performance ratio works out better when you get the lesser performant one because it has less cores.
That's true. That is true.
And that's super weird, right? You would think the performing one, the big dog, is the one you want, but that big dog has too many cores, so it's stifling the TDP, the wattage amount. So you want less cores so it can be more performant with the cores that it has. So the lower grade one, it seems to be a better ratio than the high performing one.
It's definitely no Diddy for sure. So and Diddy right now, he's on his way to jail, man, but that's a story for another channel.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm looking at some things. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. So Kay, I know that this, we'll move past the OneXPlayer X1. I hope that if you guys are interested and you do pre-order it, leave us a comment below, chat with us on Twitter. Let us know what you think of the device. I know MJ Dark is, and we're going to be picking his brain. But, Kay, let's get officially started with the episode. I'm on hosting duties this week. Just want to ask, man, how was your weekend? Did you get any gaming time in? And tell us a little bit about this past weekend show with the Gaming Circle podcast, man. Let us know what's up.
Yeah. Weekend was great. It's not bad, actually. Got a chance to hang out with the fam, chill out in the house. I went to a really interesting restaurant. I don't know if you guys saw it. I put it on Twitter.
I did.
It's a restaurant where everything is in 2D, like basically black and white and drawn a la Borderlands.
That's pretty cool.
Everything. Yeah. It was a faux spot, PHO spot where they Yes, PHO spot. And it just, the food was all right, but it wasn't even the food that was interesting. It was just that everything was black and white and weird, and
Yeah.
all their aesthetics were very much interesting in its execution. My kids went with us. We had a great time. It was
So
fun.
the
It was just
ambience,
fun
the
to be there.
ambience was cool. And what type of food was it? Was
Yeah.
it Asian, or was it an Asian
It's
fusion?
it's Asian fusion basically. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Asian fusion. I really enjoyed it. It was cool. I enjoyed it. It was
Yeah,
really
they have a
cool.
lot of Asian fusion type places here in Miami.
Yeah.
I've seen Asian fused with Cuban, with Colombian,
Oh, wow. Okay.
with
Okay.
everything, with Peruvian,
Yeah.
all over. Like it's just
Absolutely.
it's
That's
a
cool.
big hot hodgepodge over here.
So you ask, did I get any gaming in? So there are two things I want to mention. Okay, and one will be interesting to some, and the others will probably not be so happy for you, because I'm going to throw a little bit of slander. But let's do the interesting one first. So, as some have heard, I have become quite the Balatro fan. I don't know if you heard the game Balatro.
We've heard you advertising it for a little bit.
I've been a Balatro fan. I enjoy Balatro. I think Balatro is fun. So I heard, and I if you know me, you know that I am an anti-mobile gamer. I don't like playing on my phone. I'm not a phone gamer. But I heard Balatro was coming out on mobile. I was like, yay! I can play it wherever I am. When's it coming out? Lord knows. I have no idea when Balatro is coming out. But I'm like, come on, this is where you need, because this is the type of game that is such a small, it's like 600 meg. It's such a small game that even the Steam Deck or something light like that is too big for this game.
Yeah.
Right. I was thinking I might load it up on the handheld, the smaller handhelds, and see if it'll run there. But I was super excited to try try it on the.
It's perfect for the Switch, because that's so low powered that
exactly something like that. So, but I wanted something that's super light. But of course, Balatro was nowhere near on the phone just yet. So I took matters into my own hands. You know what I'm saying? I took
yes. and what do you mean by that? Are we doing a little?
I mean, ninjas get away from me. No ninjas.
Oh, I got you. Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Interesting. So
I was actually going to play it on here as well, but I figured, you know what? I take this with me wherever I go. It's the Galaxy S21. It works great. It plays like a dream. And whenever I need it, I got my Balatro fix until the official version comes out.
There you go.
Which I will gladly purchase twice, because I have it on Steam, I have it on Switch, and unofficially on here.
Yeah. I mean,
So that's the good thing I played.
Suya.
Oh, stop it. And here's the slanderous one. So I am now addicted to Dragon's Dogma 2.
On the ROG Ally, okay.
It can't play on the ROG Ally. It
Why?
won't even load on the ROG Ally. I have no idea why. It won't play at all. It just won't.
That
You
X1
try it, it'll be
Extreme,
like,
baby.
sorry, homie, it's not going down, because that Extreme is a little too extreme for the.
Apparently.
Yes, but guess where it plays?
There you go, on the big boy.
So I've been playing it on here all week. It is quite an experience, and I want to talk about the good. I want to talk about the bad. We'll get into that stuff.
We'll get into that, but
how it buckles all the CPUs. We'll talk.
But before you throw too much slander on the ROG Ally, you and MJ Dark, I see him celebrating there in the chat. I bet you it does. I bet you it also does not run on the Lenovo Legion Go, because it's the same chip, right? So I doubt that it runs there.
Well, okay. So to be like fully transparent with it, it will run on the Ally if you put like the unofficial firmware, unofficial drivers, meaning the official ones that what's his name, that Asus released is not up to date enough to run it, and when you try to, it gives you weird issues, kind of like how it used to do it with Jedi Survivor. Same thing. It took a month before you could play it on the Ally. But if you run the regular Adrenaline drivers, which you can kind of sideload, eventually you can get it to play. Let's be clear, this is not your preferred method of play. And we'll get into why that is. But it's still in
Capcom.
a pinch. It's doable.
Yeah, I heard that the performance of the game is actually tied to the microtransactions. If you pay more, you get better performance. Is that true, or that's at
Yes,
least?
actually, if you do pay more, you get better performance. But
There you
I'm
go.
talking about 5K. Like you're talking about a
Yeah,
big
no,
dog PC is what you're talking
that's
about.
not gonna happen. All right, so okay. Before we get there is one game that we both played this week. Oh, before we move on, sorry. Talk a little bit about the Gaming Circle
Yeah,
podcast, man. You
yeah,
guys
yeah,
had a
yeah, yeah.
nice episode with a
We
little
indeed
debate
did.
in there.
Yes. We had the debate of all debates. We thought it was just gonna be fun, but I gotta be honest with you. I have heard so many people like commenting about how they enjoyed it and how the grown man talk went over well for them.
Yeah, really well.
We talked about the debate. We did two good debates. One that was planned. The other one kind of organically came about, which was basically first, should Microsoft respond to the handheld, to the PS5 Pro coming out and all of this, and what the gaming community thought. We had the Black Viking on, we had the Risk It for the Biscuit on, and they both kind of wanted to debate it, hash it out, and see how they felt about it. And then, because of course the Everborn Saga is on and he cannot help himself, we did some little SBI conversations, some consultant conversations, how it should and shouldn't be, what we think about things like that. It ended up becoming like a very special show. Like I've heard so much people like come and give us props for it. We really appreciate people checking it out. It was awesome. So
it was great.
Shout out to everybody who came and checked it out. It's awesome.
And to give you some feedback, because we haven't spoken about it, I think that the conversation was really well, because these types of conversations, as you know, can either go a little bit too far left or too far right. And I think that you guys did an excellent job of navigating those waters and keeping it important to the subject at hand. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think that was addressed, which was great to see. Now, let's move on now, and let's talk about a game that we both played over the past week, and that is Contra Operation Galuga.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me ask you real quick. Do you remember playing this as a kid?
You're talking about Contra?
Yeah, but
of
this
course.
specific Contra, do you remember this? Because a lot of people I've spoken to about it go, I don't remember playing this. And I'm like, this is literally the missions seem like a beat for beat remake of the Contra that I used to play. Not everybody remembers that.
Well, I do remember the first few stages, because to be honest with you, the game was very difficult, and these were the Souls-like games back when I was like 6 years old. Okay.
Indeed,
and the thing is that yes, I do remember a few stages, and you are right. Like the first jungle part is very Contra 1-ish.
Beat for beat.
Yeah.
The SNES Contra. I remember playing, and I remember, the what do you call them? The bridges exploding as soon as you jump on them, and you got to jump over them, and all this.
Yeah.
It's exactly like I used to play it. And people, I think because there's so many versions of Contra out there, that maybe this one was not the primary one that everybody played.
Yes. I do remember that my favorite Contra that has come out in like the last, since the good old 16-bit days, was the one that came out for PS2. I don't know the name of it, but it was very, very good. I think that was a good kind of like a sequel and reimagining of Contra. And this is on a whole other level.
So tell me your thoughts on it, sir. No.
Okay, so I've played about 5 stages in, and what I can tell you is that I absolutely love this game. This game is probably going to end up being on my top 10 for the year. It is such it's such a great hardcore Genesis. I think you're right, MJ Dark. I think that was the name of the PS2 one. This game does such a great job of capturing the essence of everything that is Contra. Even from the characters that you're looking at on screen right now, it was always made to be, the 80s action heroes on screen that you were controlling. The character always was reminiscent of Arnold, and the other one was reminiscent of Sylvester Stallone. Which were in the 80s, they were the biggest movie box office attractions that there were. So I think that the game it captures the essence of the characters really well, but gameplay is king, okay, and that is where this game excels. All the guns feel great, the power-ups feel great. when you're fighting the bosses, I think that they did a good job of giving you mini bosses and then your main bosses when you get to the end of the stage. And let me tell you, the game can get at times difficult, but it's not excruciating. It's just
then
right.
You haven't played as far as I have, sir, because it can get excruciating. I've
Oh
gotten
yeah,
to places where I'm just like, damn, son.
Oh,
yes,
okay,
bullet
okay.
hell, bullets everywhere. Oh my goodness. But no,
Yeah.
I agree with all your assessment so far. I have been enjoying this game.
Look at this.
Like specifically, yes.
I mean,
this is where I feel like I'm 12. I'm back at those days, just playing this game again. It's really awesome.
You got the double jump, of course. You have your shooting from angles and stuff like that, which is great. I do feel like when you die or when you get hit, because one thing that they did that differentiates this from the older games is that in the older games, remember, you were one and done. You got hit one time,
yes.
you're gone. So you do have a bar here where you do got to get hit 3 times in order to lose a life. So it's very generous that way. And when you do get hit, I feel like if you understand where you went wrong, you're like, you know what? Okay, I know what I did wrong there. And it teaches you that when you have an enemy that's shooting you with its projectiles or weapons or whatever the case may be, you kind of learn from that experience. So from the gameplay, as you can see, it's just a shooter. You're just going from left to right, but it's pretty deep in that in that you can literally, you learn as you go. And then what that does is that, at least for me, I must have replayed the first 3 missions like maybe 5 times over, because I just wanted to do better. I didn't want to get hit not even one time. So that's something that like I used to do with the old Contras. And this right here, the fire gun, classic. I love the range that it has, and there's some more powerful weapons that you can get. But Kay, let's cover the graphics of the game. What do you think of the graphics, man? Because they're simple, but as you can see,
I really like them. Yeah. I think they came out very, very well. Like it harkens to a time of old, but still gives you that new feel. Like if you were to play, and I've played like since I started playing this, I went back and like replayed a little bit of that SNES version, and you think it looks like this. Oh boy, does it not look like this?
I know, right?
This is what your mind's eye captures. Like, oh yeah, this was the game, right? You remember this game. No, it's not. When you play that SNES version, you recognize how much time and effort has gone into this.
Oh yeah,
to give you that nostalgia feel while still harkening on the new. I really enjoy it. I think it plays amazingly, especially on handhelds. Like on a handheld, you could play this thing and it's like right there. It's really cool. I've been having fun with it.
Yes.
One weird thing.
Well, what's that?
One weird thing. I've been playing it with my Elite, right? My Elite 2 controller. Usually, I leave my Elite for the Xbox games or someplace like that, because I have a SCUF controller that is direct plug-in, and it plays. The control schemes are the clicky ones. What is the membrane controller? Or no, I forget what it's called. The membrane are the ones that is able to glide across.
The mouse click ones.
Yeah, these ones are very much clicky. It's digital. Every single button clicks, even the D-pad. And for some reason, this controller specifically, I can't walk with that character.
Oh,
he
really?
Stays still. He stutters. Yeah, I don't know if it was this, and every other game plays perfect, but this game, he will not move.
Yeah,
I had to switch to the Elite 2.
That's a no Diddy for this game. I got you. Okay, so yeah, and
we gotta stop that. That's not going to be a thing.
No, it is a thing already. It's confirmed today. It's a thing.
It's not a thing.
It's a thing. So what's this called? So yeah, I don't know why you might be having that issue, Kay. That's crazy. But forward,
it's weird.
Yes, that is true by MJ Dark. They are a great studio that makes side scrolls. Like for example, do you remember the game that they kind of remade, Blood Rain Betrayal? With the one with kind of like that hot vampire chick,
like way back in the day. Yes.
Yeah, which it's right up my alley. Okay, I mean, you know what I'm saying. So that game. So
what we're learning here is Mr. John Wolf is a dirty old man. Continue.
Yes, of course, yes, of course. Yeah. So the thing is, if you want my dollars, that doesn't take a lot. So what's this called? But yes, way forward. does have
Yeah.
very good pedigree in the 2D
Yes.
space. They, they made that. I think they made Shantae also. Remember that
Yes,
Shantae?
of course. Yes. They have many games in that Shantae franchise.
Yes,
And every one of them has been really awesome from a platform perspective. I've really enjoyed them.
yes.
We should note that shout out to WayForward, shout out to Konami, and to Keymailer, as they are the ones who provided a code so that we could check this out. So
Yes.
thank you guys so much for having us check it out.
Absolutely.
I will say it was already on my radar because the one MJ Dark had already purchased a copy for me. He gave it to me on the show. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then a day later, they were like, hey, by the way, we know you like these indies.
Dude,
would you like to try this one?
And I wanted it so bad too, and I just it worked out. Everything worked out perfectly. But WayForward, how about this? Do you remember this Mighty Switch Force? You remember that game?
No, I do not. Mighty Switch Force.
Mighty Switch Force was basically it was kind of like a puzzle-ish game where you were like these futuristic anime looking girls, and like you were like law enforcement agents, and you had to go around the map figuring out like the different maps and stuff like that. And the way that they did the gameplay there was very unique too. And of course, they worked on DuckTales Remastered. I know you remember DuckTales Remastered.
The GOAT. I love DuckTales Remastered. It's the GOAT, baby. I love that game.
Let me tell you, they have a good pedigree. They worked also on a little gem called Aliens Infestation for the Nintendo DS. I don't know if you ever played that one, but that was a good one too.
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
Yeah. These guys and girls, they definitely. I want to see more from them. I'd love to see them get some type of beat 'em up to do, because I think that they did Contra. I think that they did justice to Contra, man, and I'd like to see a reimagining of another game, like, I don't know, something like Bad Dudes or something like that. Remember Bad Dudes and all that stuff? That's
River
that's
City
a
Rampage or something like that. Yeah, of course. I love those games. Yeah, those were great games. I want to see. Like, I've always asked if we could ever get a studio whose job it is just to rekindle the fires of old. Like take the old great franchises and throw some really good shine on them. You know, a la like Delilah and like Battletoads. You know what I'm saying? Like really cool. You know, take the old formula. You ain't got to AAA-ify it, but just like give us some more like this, where your brain remembers it better than it actually was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's cool. That's cool.
And I think that there's a market for that, because the nostalgia alone, you know, there's a lot of people that grew up with this stuff, and like this was a day one for me, you know. So I was absolutely 100% I would play this, and you know, anything else that they want to bring out like this. But
so let's cover this by saying, once again, we got a code from Keymailer. So just so you know, full disclosure, shout out to them. Shout out to Konami WayForward for passing on the code so we can check it out. It's a great game. I think it's one of those games where you turn off your brain, you remember the old school, you play it. The best thing I like about this, real quick before we move on, I like that it changes the perception. You think it's a platformer like this, right? A side scroller like this. Give it a level, it all of a sudden goes a different way. You're on a bike, you're coming down the lane instead of going left to right. They switch it up pretty frequently, and I think it's really, really awesome. I've enjoyed playing all the different variations. I'll skip ahead and see if I can find some other. You know, it's really cool. And
the presentation,
really flesh out the story.
Yes, the presentation is very, very good with the voice acting and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
High praises.
Shout out to them. Thanks so much for letting us check it out. And that's that. For
sure. So, okay, let's move on to our first subject here, kind of topic. Okay, I want to talk to you about this week, right? Let's talk a little bit about something about some games that we've been playing, because you know, usually we get into conversations of hardware and stuff like that. Let's actually talk about a little bit about games this week. I think that's something that's missing from the community sometimes. I'd like to talk to you about a game that I basically beat over the weekend, and I think that it deserves some conversation, and then we can get into the Dragon's Dogma 2 performance and game.
Hold on now. Wow. The man, BT Maverick 707, with a $10 super chat. Not only with a $10 super chat, but dropping a key for one of the greatest games that I've played.
Oh, dude, that's cool. Thank you.
Hob, if you haven't played Hob, check it out. It's one of my favorite. I have beaten that game so many times. Awesome graphics, so tranquil, also very indie vibe. He drops the code and says, I'm surprised I missed Death's Door / Cocoon awesomeness of a game. Great recommendation from last week's show, and I just wanted to play it forward. Enjoy. Brother, thank you. That is so awesome. That is so kind of you. I hope somebody else gets that code. If you got that code, play that game and let everybody know that BT Maverick 707 got you that code. Thank you so much, brother. That is so cool.
Yeah. We appreciate it. So
you were saying, yes.
Yeah, so like I was saying, so there's going to be two games that I kind of want to cover. I'll start it. What do you want to talk about first? You want to go into the Dragon's Dogma conversation, or you want to cover the game that I beat? What do you want to do first?
Well,
I'll leave it up to you.
Let's talk about the game that you beat, because I think Dragon's Dogma will lead us into a bigger discussion. So
sure.
Let's start there. Let's start with
okay. So I've been playing for the last week, and I completed this weekend Suicide Squad. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
the story missions, right?
The story missions, right? And like the thing about the game is that, look, I think that this game, I can see the vision and I can kind of appreciate Rocksteady for what they do so well. But it's just a shame, as always, that kind of the decisions to make this kind of be a gas game, you can very much see it in everything about the game, right? Even in the mission structure, in the end game that I want to talk about, the end game content coming up and all that good stuff. It's very, very gas inspired. So it does a very good job of telling the story, because that's something that Rocksteady excels at. And of course it's inside the DC universe. So, when something, that's their bread and butter, working on all these years on those Batman games. I'm gonna be honest with you though, and this is just me. Completing the game, no spoilers here, right? But obviously, you know what they're trying to do in the game. It says it in the title. They're trying to kill the Justice League. Okay, in playing this game and completing it, Kay, I will tell you this: I think that the universe that Rocksteady created with Batman, Arkham Asylum all those years ago, I think that if knowing how this universe is ending and is now going to proceed, I am extremely disappointed. I am extremely let down.
You're serious?
Yes, I feel like I don't think that they did a good enough job of keeping the essence of the universe that they created, because they were so focused on creating just using the universe as a sandbox for what they were trying to create here with this gas game. And unfortunately, I personally feel like if their history, they kind of just flushed it down the toilet with this game. That's just me. Did I think that the story was a good, concise story, like an Elseworlds tale that you can pick up a comic and enjoy? Absolutely. Disconnect your brain from anything or any association you had with the previous games, and I think you will enjoy it even more, because you will take it just for what it is, and that's a game including some characters that are not the most popular characters that they are. Except for Harley. Harley is the most popular from the four, obviously, right? But I think that being a comic book aficionado, like I am, and you are as well, and probably many here in the chat, I just feel like when this strikes a very dangerous balance of trying to be something unique and fresh and cool, but at the same time, you have to be very careful, because you have so much history to respect that you can it could quickly go south really bad.
Quickly insult some people, quickly make people feel messed up about their favorite character that you kind of gave short shrift to. Yeah.
Yes. And not only that, but also knowing the history and how carefully they handcrafted this universe.
Yeah.
Like seeing some of the decisions that were made from a story perspective on what they ended up going with ultimately to tell this story. And again, if this was an isolated game that was
Mhm.
not in the Arkham sandbox, I would be more forgiving. Kind of
You'd be
like
fine
Gotham
with it.
Knights.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Gotham
I get
Knights
you.
it doesn't take place in the Arkhamverse, so I can
Well, you know
forgive
what?
it.
And it's fun. It's funny that you say that, because shout out to the man J Mo Money who's in the chat. It's been a minute, sir. I hope you're doing well. I caught him on Twitter, and he was playing Gotham Origins. Have you played Gotham Arkham
Of
Origins?
course, yes, of course, classic.
In my opinion, one of the most underrated Arkham games out there. The boss
Absolutely.
fights, amazing. He's fresh in the game, so we're not gonna spoil any of the boss fights.
No, but
some of them are awesome.
Yes.
And I was kind of hoping that, even though this is not necessarily the main line, this is the continuation of that Arkham franchise, I was hoping that somebody else takes a different tact to it, and it still comes out good. It seems like this just was not that, right? Looking at King Shark with a gun just makes me upset.
It's serviceable. The story is serviceable, right? And you know what serviceable means? It means that it's good enough to just get a pass. Job done. It gets the job done, and by the end of the game, I do feel like if you do kind of, I think that they do a good job of creating that Guardians moment where these characters that you really don't care about, you do end up kind of caring for them at the end of the game. But again, it's at the expense of what could have been, right? So it's very hard for me to just turn my brain off and pretend like I was not interested in what a Justice League game would be from Rocksteady, knowing the greatness that they did with Batman. So, when you see the Justice League stuff in the game, you can't help but wonder what could have been. And you can't help but wonder, like, man, if only they could have made a Justice League game instead of this. And I think that while that's not fair, it's not fair for the team that worked on this. It's not fair for the game. I don't want to judge the game that way. I can't help but do that, unfortunately.
Yeah. It is basically, it is shackled by its past, right?
Yes.
They should not have tied it to the Arkhamverse. They should not have done that. They should have let it be its own thing. Hey, we're making this game. It shouldn't be the continuation of that game that you love and hold in such high regard, because now everybody's going to look at it with a side eye when it's less than. You know
yes.
What I'm saying?
Now, what I will say, and to finish things up, I do want to talk about two things. I do want to talk about the gameplay, and I do want to talk about the end game content. So when I get to there, we'll give everybody kind of a spoiler alert to mute yourselves for just a quick,
chances
few minutes.
Are you won't want to play this.
So the numbers are not on its side,
so you don't have to play it for.
But I do
play it so you don't have to.
But check this out. I do think that when you hear this, I do think it might interest some people. How about that? Okay. So check this out. So for the gameplay, the actual gameplay of the game is very fun. You get rewarded for playing with all four characters. You feel like you're constantly getting loot. You feel like you're constantly powering up, and it has the hook. It does have that, because I'm going to be honest with you, even though that I had all of these criticisms, I still wanted to play the game. I was still engaged enough to say, you know what, this plays really good. Like, it's fun, so think of it kind of like Sunset Overdrive kind of meets Crackdown kind of world. I think MJ Dark said that to us a little earlier, which I think that was a perfect analogy. And then imagine those games. That's the gameplay, right? But then when you get to the story stuff, it's bread and butter Rocksteady. Okay, so think of it like that. So it's this amalgamation of just spices that they're mixing. Now, the skill tree, it's true what Don Otaku says. The equipment and skill trees actually make a big difference. That is true. So Rocksteady did do great things there. But one of the things also that I think that they did is that they mixed it up enough with the mission structure that it stays kind of refreshing for, I would say, the first, about 8 hours or so. and then that's
Okay.
when you start kind of seeing like here
Then
we go again.
the purple bubble shots don't become good
Yeah,
anymore.
then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I kind of know what I'm gonna have to do here, and
Mhm.
the boss fights are unique, when you get to the boss fights and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're just shooting bullet sponges, is what you're shooting. Okay,
purple, and they're usually
so
purple.
yeah, of course, yeah. So and not and
Purple
not in
bullet
a
sponges.
and not
Okay.
in a Saints Row type of wave. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
So the last thing I will say, and now this is spoiler
Mhm.
territory. So guys, if you do not want me to spoil Suicide Squad, please mute yourselves for about. How about this? When you see Kay Asante put up his hand, raise his right hand, that means that I'm done talking spoilers. Does that sound good?
Okay.
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 So the end game content is very interesting, Kay. And what I mean by that
Mhm.
is that when you beat the game, when you finally beat the Justice League and you get to the last boss, I guess you can guess who that is, right? The final boss of this game.
Of course, of course. I mean, this is a game where what's his face? I forget the tentacle. What's his name?
Yes, Brainiac.
What's his name? Brainiac. Where Brainiac
Yes.
kidnaps everybody. So obviously he'd
Yes.
be the last boss.
So check this out. And this right here was very unique, which I think if you're still listening to this and you're not interested in this game, it might get you interested. When you
Okay.
finally get to the final boss, you learn something in the story, and that's that they actually introduce you to the multiverse within the Arkhamverse. Okay, and basically what happens is that you kind of get informed by a very, I'm not going to ruin the character that gives you this information, but you get told that there are actually 13 variations of Brainiac that you have to kill. Okay, so what happens is that when you take down the main boss Brainiac, that's just the beginning of this gas adventure, because as each season releases now with the new villains that they're going to be releasing, you're basically targeting a brand new Brainiac.
A different multiverse.
Yes, a different multiverse and a different
Interesting.
Brainiac that you're kind of
Okay.
going at. So I guess that's the gas element that they tried to keep fresh. And you know what? I kind of found that to be unique. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because
that is cool. It's
know,
a way of threading it and making it not repetitive. Now the question is, does that mean in the different seasons, which I don't know if we're there yet or not, are there more story beats? Will they be different because there are different variations of it? Will they actually lean into that?
So it looks like the Joker releases on the 25th. Oh no, I'm sorry, on the 28th of this week. I'm gonna play it because again, I've already beat the game and I'm interested in seeing what these other Brainiac fights are like. And yeah, Michael Santiago, I don't know why they just picked 13. Technically, you're right, but I guess that
it is infinite, right?
Yeah, I guess that Rocksteady was told no, you got to limit it down to 13. But Joker is the first official DLC that they're releasing, and it's free, completely free. Okay,
nice.
So
Great.
That's cool. And then I think that the difference is going to be that yes, there are cutscenes, that there are story elements to it, but ultimately, I don't expect this to have a lot of meat on the bones. I expect this to be more like, hey, you're going to have probably some cutscenes with Joker, some interaction between the team, and then, hey, go do this stuff before you ultimately have to fight this version of Brainiac, if I could really expect anything. So I think, okay, with all that said, I think that this game is not as bad as people think. That's ultimately the truth. I think that this game maybe deserves a little bit more justice, not league, okay, but a little bit more justice. And
question,
sure.
Being that you are a Marvel zombie from way back, which gas game would you? Desert Island, right? You have one gas game, and it's either Justice League or Marvel's Avengers. Which one do you play?
I would play Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Yep. Wow.
I would pick this because again, the gameplay just feels good. It's fun. It's a fun game. It's a turn off your brain and play type of game. And
I would say that Marvel's was also pretty fun that way, especially the Wakanda updates and stuff. But yeah, that's the old cautionary tale. This is still redeemable, so I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Rocksteady did a good job on the gunplay. They really did. They did. And me, that I prefer shooters, they did enough to draw me in. And look, It's in the 7 out of 10 range. You know, 7
Mhm.
out of 10s. That's Starfield range right there. If you ask some, okay. If you ask some people from IGN. So if
Oh,
you
stop it!
enjoyed,
Stop
if
that.
you enjoyed
Uh-huh.
Starfield, there's no reason why you should not enjoy this game.
Even though it has nothing to do with each other and not
Exactly.
related in any way, shape, or form. I
Exactly.
understand.
But yeah, guys. So okay, let's
Okay.
move on now to the
hmm
big main event game that everyone's talking about. I will be
Yeah.
purchasing this, just not right
Okay.
now.
Oh, you
But
haven't played it yet.
I have not played it yet.
Okay. Okay.
You almost got me with the FOMO today with video that you
Okay.
shared of this Red
Yeah.
Sonia like character just slashing this beast. So
Monster, like beasting.
okay,
Yeah.
this is what's gonna
So you
get
know what?
me. I just want to say
Let's
something.
do the good, the bad, and the ugly on it. But you first. Go ahead.
I
Go
just
ahead.
want to ask one question that
Mhm.
will get me really interested or really disinterested from
Mhm.
jump. Is this a
Mhm.
Souls like game?
No, it's not a
Okay,
Souls-like game at
okay,
all.
you got me
It is
now.
not a Souls-like game.
Now
It
I'm
is
interested.
not a Souls-like. No, it's not. It's not that big Souls. No, it's not. Okay, but and I have to break this down into the good, the bad, and the ugly. I just have to,
Take over,
because there's a
brother.
lot of good, there's a lot of bad, and oh boy, there's some ugly. Okay, so the good. What you're seeing is literally like, and this is what I always do, and then Everborn gives me smoke about it. This is me first touching ground, playing the game for the first time,
I
and
only have
because of
one thing to
that,
say. Why are your legs so oily? What's going on?
yeah, no, well, because you jumped in the water, you came out, and your legs are oily,
Oh, I
the whole
got you.
body.
Okay, I got
So
you.
so because this is the first time playing through, I'm learning the systems, I'm learning everything. So it'll be a very hodgepodgey kind of thing. Don't slander me. It is what it is.
Nah, you're good. Go ahead.
But you learn early on that this game is not to be played like every other game. And Don Otaku got 15 hours in. The man is doing the Lord's work. Good job, sir. That's awesome. I am about, let's see, I'm checking my stats now. I'm 10 hours in. I'm a level 11, right?
Nice.
And you learn that it's not to be played like any, yeah, and they jump like really far. The ogre, like they jump.
Is that
like,
is
for
that
real.
is that an NPC or a real world character with you?
So remember, this is a single player game. There are
Okay.
no real world characters with you. All of
Okay.
them are NPCs.
Gotcha.
But you will find that in the good column, this is unique. These are like drivatars, if you remember those,
Of course.
right? And the people in the world, by and large, when you walk around and you find, so for those who don't know, Dragon's Dogma 2, you're a single player game. You jump in the world. You are considered the Arisen, royalty, royal blood, whatever, MacGuffin. You control the world, and in this world, every one Arisen is usually the leader of the becomes king or becomes the ruler of the land. You arise, and they say, hey, now there's already an Arisen that's around. You must be an imposter. And then the I wouldn't say hilarity ensues, but intrigue ensues, figuring it out, right? What's so good about this game is it is very much a harken back to the Elder Scrolls days, the Skyrim days, where you can make your own fun. Like, it really is make your own fun. And
Really?
I don't like the make your own fun stuff. When you tell me you can go anywhere and do anything you want, I'm like, I don't want to do. I want to follow the storyline. I want to do what they told me to do, right? But what the needle they've thread here that I really enjoy is you don't have to go off the beaten path and just discover whatever. Like, you can, but you don't have to. You can follow the story. You can go along. You need to do this. You need to do that. And on the way to its destinations, that's where the hilarity will ensue. That's where you'll get weird things happen, right? And you can either continue down that path or you can go do whatever you want to do, right? That's the good, okay? And we'll go back to all that. You can ask me.
Is it kind of like when you mean when you're saying that? Is it kind of like how we play Assassin's Creed?
You see what I just did there, by the way?
Yeah, you
I
just
can
threw
pick
him.
up a bad guy and throw him at another bad guy. But we'll
That's
get to that.
pretty cool.
Back to that. Assassin's Creed, yeah.
So is it kind of like Assassin's Creed where you have your story beat missions in the world, but then you have your side missions and then you have your things that you run into on your way there? Is it like that, or is it a little bit different in the sense that because what you're telling me is that, what do you mean by create your own fun? What does that really mean?
So you know how there's in racing games, for example, you know how there's the Forza Horizon games where you go and it's all about just having fun and enjoying yourself, right? Whereas in like Forza Motorsport, it's a simulator, right? And everything is simulated down to its essence, and it's less about go out and have fun and more about this is how it would be in the real world. This is how you would be doing it if you were playing
a career mode, basically. Yeah.
Sure. This is simulation, the RPG.
Okay.
Like, and what I mean by it's fun in that is there is no gamification. There is no shortcuts, right? There are systems
you have to pay for those.
systems upon system. We'll talk about that one.
Yeah, I mean,
there are multiple systems, and those systems are so detailed and true to life that it kind of breaks your gamer brain. Right? If you're a gamer, you know, oh yeah, well you could just go here. Oh, if a bad guy is chasing me, I can run the other way, come back. They'll pretend they didn't even see me. That's not this game.
Wow.
Everything is simulated. You kill a dude, you leave, unless you sleep somewhere, you leave and you come back, that dude is still there. It's gonna be there for hours and hours and hours. It'll still be there. Right?
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yes, like the simulation is really, really, really good. Like it's really good.
So what you do matters. In other words, what you do in this world matters because there are consequences, and you will be reminded of those consequences.
Absolutely, and it's not fake consequences. It's not like, oh, this person will remember or whatever. The world moves like. Remember how we were talking about at some point? And by the way, forgive me. The stuff you see on my screen. Usually when I record, I don't let it record desktop mode. I just let it record the game. So you don't see my stuff in the background. But in this time, for some reason, I recorded desktop mode. So you can see the screenshot the game bar screenshots. You can also see the,
is that a Tiger Man?
That I use for, yes, you can pick a Tiger Man if you want.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
You can pick, like, there are people who are walking around with Mike Tyson. You can really like make that.
Yes,
I Mike Tyson. Yeah.
And to be honest, be honest, the character I'm gonna be creating is Guts.
Character creation
Berserk.
is amazing.
I'm gonna do Guts when I get it. 100%.
So, what I mean by the fun and it making your own fun is, you could just be an adventurer. You and your band of married women and men, right? And they're all pawns because you control the pawns. And they're all NPCs, but you choose 3 of them. One's your main, and then 2 you can switch in between them. Now your main pawn grows with you, so they can get since they are your main pawn. This was my main pawn. I just chose one. This was my main pawn. So as you level, so does she. But the others, you can switch out and go, okay, well this one's skills are no longer to my liking, or their level's too low, and you can switch them out. And you being the Arisen, you can switch. You have the ability to call on pawns, and they will do your bidding, right? So at any moment's notice, I'm running around with 3-4 people with me. One, and they all have different classes. I choose that because it's helpful. So if you have a mage class, that mage, as soon as you start battle, will lay down like a supportive shield that will then give everybody their health back, right? As they're fighting. You get a thief, you get like a fighter. I'm a fighter. You get a ranged. So even though you can't hit them arrows, they will use the arrows for you. This person will go and get into the fight because they're a thief, because they're really fast. And then somebody else will lay down support for you. You know, it's a whole team.
Do you find them to be very helpful in those situations?
Very helpful, like unusually so helpful.
Nice.
Like you're rolling deep. You walk around, you happen to see, hey, there might be stuff around, because the map might show you that there might be some stuff around, and your pawns will look around, oh, I found something, and they get stuff for you. Oh, I found this. They're basically collecting the world as you go along. I saw a video of somebody who was on a hill, their pawns were on the floor, he jumps, pawn catches them.
Oh, nice. Wow.
I have never played a game, and you didn't hit a trigger to be caught. You didn't say, oh, catch me. He just saw you coming, knew you'd fall, and caught you.
Yeah,
it is
that's
that
cool.
kind of a game.
So
like,
yeah,
it simulates everything. Everything is logically simulated how it would be in that pseudo real life had that happened.
That's
right?
cool.
Another thing. What I mean by it being good. You walk around. Let's say you kill a very important character, right? the game won't go, okay, you killed an important character, game over. It will continue without that important character, even detrimentally so. It'll just continue, right? And if you killed somebody and you want to heal them, because there's certain runes or whatever you can get to kind of bring them back to life, right? Let's say, for example, quick example, you have to go save somebody, right? Oh, you need to go save them, they're in danger, da da da. In any other game, pick your adventure game, pick your RPG game, you're on your way to go save the world, but I'm gonna go pick these 15 flowers, I'm gonna go help this blind man, I'm gonna go grab lunch for this dude. That ludonarrative dissonance that people talk about. In this game, if they say it's critical and you need to go save them, you go there and homie, you weren't here fast enough, homie dead.
No way. So yeah, so there's even consequences for showing up late.
And oh, by the way, you're like, okay, well, I can resurrect him. Okay, but his body ain't here. Where's his body? You need his body to resurrect him. They put him in the morgue because he's dead. So now you got to go to the morgue,
dig him up.
Go get you know what I'm saying? This is that kind of game. Like, it's so simulation, but of course you can bring him back. And although you can bring him back, those runes are really hard to get your hands on. So you have to be really, really willing to get that person back. Otherwise, you just have to play the game and assume that he's dead, and you're just gonna keep moving.
So let me ask you this, because these are the two things that are really going to kind of it's gonna dig its claws into me. Number one, does it have? I saw you talking to a lot of NPCs there. Is there a lot? Is there voice acting? Like, is the voice acting good?
All voice acted, all very good, very true to life. Speak for those SBI eyeballers in the chat. A lot of diverse characters. They all belong there. They all feel at home there. They all look and feel and sound great. Like, it's an awesome. They did a great job there. Yes.
So okay. So with that said, right, when because I'm thinking about The Witcher, right? I'm comparing it to The Witcher in the way
it's got some Witcher vibes.
There you go.
But it's more Skyrim than Witcher, because Witcher, even though it's an open world game, right? Witcher has mission structures. Witcher has levels. Hey, you're going here, you're doing this, you're going, and you can do that too here, but it's very open-ended. And the thing that I love about this game is there's something called interactive HUD. You know what an interactive HUD is?
I mean, I think I know what that means.
When I say an interactive HUD, what do you think I mean by it?
I think that it means like, for example, your life bar and stuff like that, and your map and stuff like that, you can kind of do stuff with it. That's what I can imagine.
That's not exactly what I mean. What I mean by an interactive HUD is you can go and check your quest map. You can go and check this and check that. You can check your health bar. You can check these things. You can. Or you can never go into any of those things and talk to your pawns. Your pawns will say, hey, this mission, we need to go here. Hey, be careful. Oh yeah, by the way, I fell real quick. And when you fall, look what happens. Look what happens. Look what happens. Look what happens.
What is
when
this?
you fall into the water, they basically take you to hell. They eat you alive. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, you just won me over right now.
You. Yeah, it's crazy. So the interactive HUD, you never have to go and do the Ubisoft thing. See, now you see the very shiny skin because you fell into water.
I was like, why is this dude so oily?
Oh, oily, yeah. You never have to like check your stats. You never have to check your maps. All you gotta do is talk to your pawn, right? You don't even know you have a side quest until you talk to somebody. And if you don't talk to them, you may never get that side quest. As you see the screen, all you see is your main buttons of interaction. You don't see go here, do this. Fine, you can put them there. You can put these various things there. You can put the map there. But at the end of the day, it's very organic. You talk to your partners and they go, oh, we need to get back to the person who asked us on this mission. Follow me, I'll take you there. And you just follow your pawn and they'll take you there. No need to look on a map. Pretty cool. Like, the whole thing is interactive within the world. It's kind of like, remember Ghost of Tsushima? I don't know if you ever played Ghost of Tsushima, where whenever you need to head to the next level or the next place, you can just follow the wind, because the wind will kind of
it was your guide.
As you go.
Yeah,
exactly. This is them in the world going, hey man, we need to go, and at some point, oh, we're so tired, I guess we need to rest for the night. And you can tell as your pawns and you are getting tired, your full health doesn't get full anymore. it starts staying. Even when you max out your food and everything else, you can only go so much and so much, and get smaller and smaller until you sleep and you replenish your energies. Right.
Okay, let me tell you something. All of this sounds like an RPG gamer's paradise, but I'm gonna be telling you right now, I'm gonna be Wii modding this thing up because I don't want to deal with hunger and tiredness.
But you have to understand, it's not like encumbrance you're gonna deal with. Any RPG you're gonna deal with encumbrance. But even in that, you have 4 people with you. You can just spread your load. Pause on everybody else.
Careful.
Right? No Diddy. You can spread it across, so you can carry more without anyone getting overly encumbered. But my point is, it's not done in a debilitating, oh, now I gotta go find food. I don't like Ark. I don't like those kind of survival things.
It's organic.
Uniquely, interestingly fun, right? But here comes the bad.
Go ahead.
Okay. And I'm not talking about the microtransactions. That's the whole different side. That's the ugly. The bad is because of all these systems upon systems upon systems upon, I mean, this, like, I could have a fight and I'm battling it out, and while I'm battling it out, my apples that are in my inventory are slowly rotting.
I mean, Kay, it's real life, man.
Yes, to the point where at some point you go to eat the apple and the apple has rotted, and you're just like, what the hell?
Come on.
It's amazing. It is amazing. I have never played a game, like I said, this is Forza Motorsport, where your tires like get dull over time. This game, like, every rock has physics. You can pick up every rock. It's heavy. Every single damn rock. Anything and everything you want to pick up, you can.
Was the first Dragon's Dogma like this too, or did this game kind of expand on?
The first Dragon's Dogma was also like this. Okay. Yeah, the first Dragon's Dogma was like this as well. But the reason why this is so fun and interesting is, like, there are ways around everything. Like, it's not the logical only way. It's not the only way that you can play the game. So first in this game, very, very at the beginning of it, and actually maybe while we're talking, you'll see it on the screen here, right? You're following this crew, and you're gonna go. They're supposed to take you to the capital for you to prove yourself as the Arisen, right? And when you get there, there's a big bridge, there's a dam, and all of a sudden a big ogre appears, right?
Oh, really?
And I spent and that's one thing that happens. There's a lot of moment to moment out of nowhere. A centaur shows up out of nowhere, a griffin, and you can get on their back and stab them while they're
all right, hold on. Let me stop you right there, because one of the things that's going to get me to really want to play this, like, the creatures that you've ran into so far, like, are they like bombastic boss fights that you're doing? Okay, well, that sounds really interesting.
They're bombastic, but you can do more with them. Like, the boss fights almost become like Monster Hunter-esque. You can jump on their back and they're flying and you're stabbing them, and because usually these huge monsters, you're just slashing at their knee. Even in freaking Elden Ring, you're just slashing at their teeny tiny part,
and they can do
huge monster.
and they can do all these things that they don't let you do, which I always hate about those games.
Exactly. But this game, you could just jump on that mug's back and just start stabbing him while he's flying, and you're just there, right? You're fighting wolves. Wolves can put you in their mouths and run. And you're in their mouth and you're running and you're stabbing them.
Okay. Now, this is going to be a rookie question about this franchise. And I think it's pretty obvious. I'm assuming that the dragons are the bosses, because it's Dragon's Dogma. So are the dragons the big bosses here?
I wouldn't. And again, I'm only 10 hours in. I wouldn't think that dragons are the bosses. I think that at some point you'll interact with dragons, whether against you or with you. I have no idea. We shall see. But I guess what I'm trying to say, so the first level, and I see you, Floodzilla, in the chat. He says that was a Cyclops. Okay, so that was a Cyclops.
Oh, okay.
So I spend maybe 2 saves worth, right, beating up this Cyclops, and you can save easily as long as you're not saving in a battle. You can save right before a battle.
How are your apples?
Save. Stop it. Needless to say, after I defeat this Cyclops, that I'm like, okay, I've defeated it. It was fun. I did it with the whole group. It was cool. Then I check on Twitter. Some dude, of course, because as soon as you defeat the boss, the Cyclops, then he bangs into the dam, and it opens the floodgates and allows the water to run through. Right? Some dude found a red barrel, which I video game parlance, red barrel means blow
Right.
up, right?
Right.
And it's right when the freaking Cyclops shows up, you throw it against the other wall, it breaks the wall, water flows through and kills the centaur instantly.
Oh, okay. So
there are always ways around it. And I'm just
yes.
like, mother effer. And I spent 20 minutes trying to beat this mother.
Yeah, you're just climbing
and
on
you
his
could've
back,
just done
stabbing
this.
him, and the other dude is like, "Excuse me, sir. Let me use my brain real fast."
This is the cool essence of the
You
game.
brute.
But here's the bad. And this bad is very important. Everyone's complaining about the game running like dog meat.
Yes.
That's why the game runs so badly. Because they are systems upon systems upon there is just no way around it. It is so CPU
wait
heavy.
a minute. Okay. Before, and I'm starting to interrupt your train of thought. So right now, what you are saying is that what you're predicting here that is going on with the performance of this game is that it's because of the gameplay design that it's just affecting the
You're putting the cart
performance.
before the horse.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead. It's just
that is
I
exactly
kind of caught
what's
that.
happening.
I caught that.
That is
right
exactly what's
now.
happening. It is overly systems upon. This is next gen, ladies and gentlemen.
Really?
Next gen isn't pretty. Next gen is the world moves on and continues whether you're there or not. Right? Remember, I think you've heard me say this before. Cyberpunk, can you like secretly follow an NPC, go to work, go home, kiss their wives, go to the club, enjoy themselves while you're not there? No, all of them are there to service you, the story. You know,
Red
you're
Dead
always
has
there.
some of that.
And the minute, exactly, they do have some of that, right? But by and large, the minute you leave that area disappears. That area doesn't exist until you come back to it.
Yeah.
This game, more than most, makes you feel like they don't give a crap whether you are there or not. The world is what the world is. It is continuing without you, which means those systems are all things the CPU is constantly remembering. I have, and I will not say this pinky in the air or gross. When I bought this PC, when I built this PC, I call it my no compromise build. Bought it last year, built it last year. The top of the line spec across the board, right? Top of the line i9 Intel processor, liquid cooled 4090, terabyte of storage, like insane fast. I mean, people talking about the PS5 has fast CPU, fast storage. My storage smokes everything. Like it is the top of the line. Okay.
Look at that
when
bunny.
I am in this, yes, when I'm in, and you can see it very lightly in the corner there. When I'm in the wilderness and I'm hanging out, I'm averaging 90, 100 and something frames per second. I've seen about
that's really
144, good. Right? In the city, I have seen 50 frames per second.
Wow. DLSS or just straight?
DLSS, frame gen, everything on.
Wow.
I have seen 50 frames per second. Why? Because systems upon systems upon systems. Like it is nuts. All the things happening at the same time. Nothing is going away. Dead bodies are there from 5 months ago. Like it's all there and it keeps remembering everything.
So how does this differentiate from Starfield in your opinion, where I can pick up a bunch of stuff, drop it in a ship, come back to the world, and it's still supposed to be there?
So the best thing, the good thing about how Starfield mitigated this was it's space, and space is true to life, meaning most of it is empty, right? You fly through most of it, and you can go. Now you can buckle it by bringing all of them into one place. Remember the dude who grabbed all the hot dogs or all the sandwiches and put it. That's you bringing it all in one place. But by and large, it's not all in one place.
No, it's not.
Right?
There's barren wastelands
on top
there.
Of each other.
Yeah,
there's
barren.
a bunch of it. There's a little bit here. There's a little bit there. This is systems upon systems. The night, the day cycle, like a lot. Another game I have been playing, right, is and we won't talk too much about it because people have played it. You know what it is. This is Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition. Bought it on PC. Shout out to Deals.gg.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
What did you say?
Shut
Horizon? You put me to sleep.
Be quiet. I'm trying to say something.
I'm sorry. It's just you put me to sleep.
Shout out to Deals.gg. I actually bought this game for $40 day one, and I bought Forbidden West for $30 day one.
Nice.
So you don't have to pay full price day one.
Of course.
Forbidden West, right? That game will melt your face comparatively graphics.
It's a good looking game
compared to this.
Absolutely.
It is the best looking game I have ever seen. Oh my God,
It's up there.
how it looks. Like, even on this thing, it looks great.
Yeah.
And then you put it in the 4090 and you're just like, wow. But at its heart, it is a game that can run on a toaster because GPU scales. You have an awesome GPU, it will scale. CPU complexities don't. So they don't have that much CPU complexity. They got the wind, the grass wafting in the breeze. They got bugs and stuff all over the place. It looks great, but you remove all the window dressing, and it's a very basic system. That's why it can still run on a PS4. Yeah. This game does not look nearly as good as Forbidden West, but this game is so next gen in comparison with the physics engines and everything is real, true to life. Like, it is all on display, especially when you're in the city and you got this going on, that going on, and your monster PC's buckling under its weight. Like, wow. This is why, if you've heard, console players are kind of cheesed because it's running barely 30, 40 frames per second on the Series X, and then on the PS5, you're middling in the mid 30s to 40s, depending on where you are.
Yeah,
and then when
I heard that. Yeah, when you're in the city, sometimes I think I saw as low as 24 frames and stuff like that. So it's struggling.
It's because unlike Starfield, where they spread it all out, it's a city. So you got hustle and bustle, and people are talking, and this is going on, and that is going on, and everything is real, and none of it is fudged just for your benefit. They're all there. They're all talking. They're all living their lives around you, whether you're there or not. So if you happen to be there, right? If you happen to be in the city, it all is affecting your machine, and you're just like struggling. There is no world where the PS5 Pro, say it now, clip it.
Oh, go ahead.
Unless they make a different code base, unless Capcom is paid to go, okay, you know what? We're gonna start and we're gonna completely reprofile this separate for a console. I don't see any current gen, whether it be Pro or not, hitting more than what it's hitting now. This thing is huge as far as a load is concerned. It is heavy. I don't see any console playing this at 60 frames.
This is basically, and this is the way that my brain can formulate this, simple console peasant here still, right? Is this kind of like the same limitation that Gotham Knights had on the console, where 30 frames was going to be locked in because of the tethering aspect of the game, where that they could do nothing else but to do a 30 frames version of it? Or is this just so much more advanced that even on Gotham Knights, they could have toned down some of the graphics to get you that 60 and stuff like that? But here, this is just on another level. Like in other words, you said something to me in the green room that, or in private chat, I forgot. You will never expect to see this game running on 60 on any Series X
console.
No. Wow. Okay. And you say that because
the best we can hope for is 40, and even that won't be locked. It's
wow.
Because depending on where you are, you're like, hey, you got all the headroom you want. You go into any real cities and it will buckle, bro. It will buckle. That's what it does. And
you're, right? And I mean, you have, I think that you have the knowledge, and not only the knowledge, but you have the test hardware to do that on, and that's top of the line hardware, and you're seeing it for yourself. So
it buckles. I mean, it's liquid cooled. When I'm in the city, my fans go, ooh, like it's all like, oh my goodness, I got to keep this cool because it's really, really buckling under the weight of it. Now, next gen, maybe more, they emphasize CPU power, right? Then you might be able to hit something, depending on some optimization, because they still need to optimize the game. They still need to keep tweaking and get it to run better. I don't foresee this in its current gen, like as is right now, some hardware, specifically console hardware, just like running through this thing and playing it over 60 frames easily. Yeah, I don't foresee that, right? Because there's so many systems on display at any given time, and it's super fun, but it makes it super heavy. See them apples? They're rotting.
Oh, you better eat them.
Which is nuts. And it's not just that. Any organic material eventually goes bad if you don't use it.
I mean, but that's real life, right? So
exactly. Oh, and by the way, when you make camp, because you can make camp and have people sleep and all this. When you make camp, they go, hey, you want to cook some food? When you cook food, it is an FMV.
Oh, that's cool.
Of food. So it's like real food. Like Boom, a shout out to Boomstick. He said this to me like some time ago, right when I had started and he had been a little further. He's like, bro, you will want to eat that food. It is amazing. And I'm like, did they render the? No, they didn't render it. It's the picture, and they like real video of a steak being. It's like what?
I saw something on Twitter that got me hungry when I saw like a T-bone steak or something being cooked.
It's crazy. It's awesome. Don Otaku's asking how it would run on the Series S. I would think it would run not just as good or bad as the Series X, but it'll run a little less performant. Remember, most people forget. The big hit to the Series S is the GPU, not CPU.
Right.
It has the same CPU architecture. It's just clocked just a little bit lower. So you will get a hit. But the reason why they clocked it just a little lower is because it's meant for 1080p gaming and not for any higher res, right? So if you get a game that's CPU heavy, you'll still be able to get some of the use case out of it because the CPU on the Series S is somewhat similar to the Series X. Remember, the Series S still runs games at 120 frames per second. Some games,
that's
it's
true.
no slouch. It's just the GPU's clock much lower. Now, if we're talking about beautifying, what it looks like, your ray tracing and all this other stuff, there's where you're going to see a huge difference because the Series S is not meant to be that performant when it comes to that. That's why they offset it with all the various tools that nobody ever uses.
That's tools.
So to answer your question directly, John Wolf, about the Gotham Knights, that is not exactly the same because Gotham Knights was literally a last gen game that they overshot their skis on, and in so doing they had to get rid of the last gen right off the bat, right? If you it's been documented and said many times, when you're building a game, the first decision you make is the most important, which is what are you targeting? Are you targeting this CPU or that CPU? Because remember, CPU power does not scale. CPU resources do not scale, right? You can't say, well, on the Series X, apples will rot over time, but on the Series S, we'll turn that off. No, that's just how it is, right? You can say, hey, there's ray tracing in this one, and there's no ray tracing in that. You can say you can tweak the clouds, you can tweak the shadows, you can tweak those, but you can't tweak the complexity of every rock is pickupable and throwable and every.
Can I just thank you on something? Can I just thank you for creating Carl Weathers as your character in this game, because he looks identical to Carl Weathers, and thank you for giving that man a shout out. Okay, I appreciate that. But man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so I mean, I'm gonna be honest. You got me interested.
I see BT Maverick is saying that DF did a video on the Series S, and the textures are washed out a bit. Yes, because the GPU, and don't get me wrong, it's not a separate thing. CPU and GPU work together, but visuals are more of the GPU's world, and complexity in world and systems are more of the CPU's world. They need each other to survive, but the main job of the complexity is the CPU, and the main job of visuals is the GPU. So if your GPU is not up to par, you will see both aspects suffer, but it won't be as drastic depending on what side of the house is weaker, right? So yeah, it'll be washed out a bit, but still it'll be able to perform at least the same complexities in processing because it has to, otherwise it won't scale at all. So that's why it's very important for them to decide where they target before any of this stuff happens. Right?
Let's get to the ugly, and let's talk about these microtransactions and the actual game design, which I think personally, I think that people are not upset at the fact that there's microtransaction in a game, because I think that we've become all kind of, we're used to it by now, right? We know we know these companies want to nickel and dime us. We got that. But the problem here that I'm seeing is that the difference that I've seen a lot of people say is that the actual game design of this game may have been kind of abused in a sense of, hey, we're creating such a real RPG that if you want to fast travel in our world, you're going to pay for it, because our vision was that you needed to walk to wherever it was for X amount of time, or do it the way that we want you to do it. That kind of portrays a real world. And at the end of the day, that's just an excuse, because every game should have fast travel, whatever the case may be. But do you forgive them for that here? Do you think that it was done maliciously? What do you think was the thought in that studio when they kind of put these systems in place, hiding behind microtransactions?
So this is, and I think you will understand this. This is akin to Assassin's Creed Odyssey to Valhalla.
Gotcha.
Right? Odyssey to Valhalla. Now, why do I say that? Odyssey had transmog, and anybody knows what transmog is. Oh, you by and large, you want to make sure you have the biggest and baddest machine, the biggest and baddest weapons and armor and all of that in the game.
Because they want your build.
The better the
they want show your build, officer. show your build.
I have a what do you call it? I have a PC part picker like post that I put together for it. I'll post it in the chat. No worries. And by the way, before we finish, I have to remind myself I will be giving away a game today.
Yes.
For all my Steam code lovers, I got Steam code that I want to give y'all. So stay close. I'll throw something in the chat soon enough. But okay, so what was I saying? You lost me.
Yeah, sorry about that. So you were saying that you were kind of going into the design of the game, something about the fact that the way it's designed may have influenced kind of the direction.
Yeah, the microtransactions. So the ugly about the microtransactions. So just like Odyssey to Valhalla, right? Transmog used to exist, and transmog is you get the highest stats, the best weapons, the coolest clothes, all of that, right? But you don't want to look hodgepodge and weird. So even though you get all the best stats, they can literally set it so that the coolest outfit that you like, you can change the newest, the most powerful stat outfit to look like what you want it.
Yeah, the appearance.
Modification.
Right.
The appearance, exactly. And people use that to great effect in Odyssey. So what did they do in Valhalla? They charge you for it.
Yeah, that's messed up.
This is the same thing
yeah.
from Dragon's Dogma 1 to Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 1, you have, like, they're trying to be, like I said, they're trying to be a simulator RPG. So there's a lot of walking, there's a lot of this, there's a lot of that. There are fast travel runes in the world. You can use fast travel runes. You can do that, right? It's hard to find, but you can do that, right? It seems like between the last game and this game, they went, there are people who have more time, no time and more money. For them, how about we give them a shortcut, right? And they started down that line little by little by little. And what kind of ruins it for me, what makes it a little ugly for me, is game systems are like involved in that. Meaning like extra characters and certain things like that. It's not as egregious as Ubi, where you can just at any moment's notice go to their store. You literally have to go to the PlayStation store. You have to go to Steam. You have to buy it outside of the game in order for it to be in the game for you to use it. So if you don't know any better, you'll just play the game as is and never even know that there's a microtransaction that forces you to do these things, right? You could play the game and just play the game, right? But the grind is real. It's difficult. It takes a long time. And oh, by the way, if you want to have that option to pay to win or pay to get pay because you ain't got no time, you can do that, right? Yeah. So is it egregious like all that? I think companies like Ubi and them deserve far more smoke because they always keep that D-pad left click right handy in case you want to buy. And this is not like that.
It's just that the problem is that, look, you can have the most strict, you can be strict in your mindset, and you can say, I'm not buying it, I'm not going to let them win. They're betting that you're going to bend the knee eventually. I
mean they're wrong, because we will talk about how we going to get around it in a minute. But that's in the tip section. We're going to tell y'all how to do that. Because ain't nobody got no time for that BS.
Exactly. But I do want to ask you one thing. For PC players like myself and the people in the chat, how can we get a good idea of how this game will run with our current CPUs? Because I think I have an i7. I don't have top of the line stuff here. I got an 11th gen i7. 11700F. I don't even know what that means. 2.50 gigahertz that I'm running with here. You think I'm gonna be chugging along here, Kay? What if you had to make a guess here? What do you think?
So this guy, and you know what this guy runs. You know it. Everybody knows it. It's the 7840U processor. This one's got 64 gigs of RAM. Right, so it's a bigger beast. A terabyte of drive. On average, when I'm in the woods, I'm getting about 45 frames per second. When I'm in menus, I'm at 60. Right?
800p, right?
Turned up. Actually, no. I actually need to bring it down. This is 720p.
720p. Upscale.
Yeah, it's 720p, and it's got the AMD upscale, right? So it runs at 720p and it upscales.
Wow.
But you could, 720p upscale, and I'm getting around 45, whatever. When I'm in the city, depending on how much in the city I'm in, I could get down to 17 on this guy. On my PC, on my big dog PC, when I'm in the city, when all things are crunching, I can see 55 sometimes, which is weird. I've never seen below 70 frames in any game except this one.
So this is the new benchmark for test your build.
Well, it's not even the benchmark for test your build. I will say over time, I think over time you will see this game get more and more optimized.
Okay.
Not now, but over time you will see that. In the short term, though, I say expect, if you are one of those people that are just like, no, my machine is going to be monster, it's going to be great. Yeah. As long as you're okay with it not, as long as you're okay with it not being locked stable at 60 frames, you'll be all right.
Or play it at 1080p.
Yes. The minute you are like, oh, it's got to be a monster, it's got to be a beast, it's got to be locked.
You know what the thing is that you got me
by the way,
interested.
even at 1080p, don't expect magic.
Oh,
because
wow.
Remember, it's CPU heavy, not GPU heavy.
Gotcha.
So even dropping the resolution, you can drop the resolution all you want. Set it to 4-something P. When you got a bunch of apples all rotting,
drop them apples if you want them framed, right? So the thing is that honestly, I think that my conclusion that you've brought me to, unfortunately, I'm gonna wait a little bit, man. I'm gonna fight the FOMO on this one. I'm gonna wait till that performance gets better optimized because we know that it's going to eventually come with patches. I'm gonna wait it out, man. I really am, because again, it's like I don't want to play the worst version of this game, which is right now.
And remember, I said, you heard me say before, hey, there will be a time where you'll see Starfield run at 60, mark my words, and I still believe that. What I don't believe is I don't believe this will run at 60 in any way, shape, or form on the current gen. I just don't see it happening. Because first off, it's so badly optimized already to start, and then those systems upon systems on display. It's just like, oh man,
those damn apples, man.
It'll take some time.
Blame those apples.
If you want me to show you my build, I'll put it in the chat right now. There's a PC part picker thing that I did, just basically showing off my all the various components that make up the build. Real quick, it is the i9-3900K. Running 24 logical cores
for Ksante, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, terabyte drive, 64 gig storage, everything running on DDR5, liquid cooled, freaking 4090. Like it's all there. Like it is the best you could build when I built it. Like since then, some things have come out that may still be a bit better on the AMD side and whatnot as far as optimization and whatnot. But this is still a big, like, monster machine that nothing should buckle it, and this game buckles it.
That's frustrating, man. Because I mean,
no,
but
come on.
No, but this is what I mean. What I mean by frustrating is that it's frustrating that Capcom, for some reason, I don't know, because I wasn't following this game. Do you feel like this game may have been rushed out? Did it need more time in the oven?
You know, some have theorized that, and I mean, it definitely, like, the reason why a game like Starfield came out in the condition it did, I believe that because they had that extra year, right, to keep polishing and keep cleaning it up and all of that,
right?
And could this game have benefited from similarly? Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't think this game runs at 60 frames in a year
Oh wow.
on a console. Right? You can't squeeze blood from a stone. At some point, you have been diminishing returns.
Yeah,
It
but
is what it is.
forget those people. Okay, they get what they pay for. So let's stick to PC. How am I going to be playing this in a year? What do you think?
Look, I honestly think because you have many options for yourself, right? You can down the resolution a bit. You can, scale certain things back. You can turn off ray tracing. I'm a schmuck, so I turn everything max because damn it, I paid for it. I want to turn everything to max. I'm sure if I turn ray tracing off, you could quell things back a little bit, and in doing so, you may be able to, get a bit more for your buck there. But at the end of the day,
it's that jumping toad right there, man. It just, the CPU is it needs to calculate his distance.
So the great man, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere asked, "What's the memory?" What I assume he's asking what VRAM I have on my 4090. I have 24 gigs of VRAM, sir.
Nice.
Yes, it is 24 gigs of VRAM. Now,
yeah, man.
Not to be outdone, this guy, which has 64 gigs of RAM on the base, you can fluctuate your own VRAM. So I've set this to 12 gigs of VRAM, and that's why I'm able to play this relatively smoothly.
Nice.
That's a big reason why other handhelds can't seem to play it well, because you can't really decide how much VRAM you set.
Gotcha. So okay, I'm gonna move us along in the conversation because as I started, my gut ain't doing too well right now. It's acting up. I don't know what it is, but I gotta.
You need to go see somebody with your gut.
Yeah, I think I really do, because I'm sitting here literally, and I could have some type of gallbladder issue here or something.
Go talk to somebody. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I just hate doctors and hospitals and all that stuff. So I'm just hoping that it passes through. So let me
change you want your daughter to be. So do right.
I gotcha.
So
So okay, real fast to end this. Let's talk about first. Let's do your giveaway that you want to do. Then let's talk about how we can bypass those microtransactions. And lastly, let's just finish off with saying one thing that we really like and one thing that we really dislike from games. And like, for example, it could be anything. Okay, like you could pick encumbrance if that's your thing, or whatever the case may be. It's just one system or gameplay element that you really like and that you really dislike.
Okay, so before I get to it, what I will say is, and this will also be a tip of mine. This will also be a cool tip for people who want to check it out, and that is Humble Bundles. If you haven't checked them out from time to time, go to humblebundle.com, check them out. Why? Because I like these, because they like to give them. They put a bundle together.
Are you kidding me right now? I don't want no. Come on, man.
Yes, you do.
I don't want nothing around that area, sir.
Yeah. Hey now.
Nothing but toilet paper. Come on, man.
Hey now. This is a different conversation. Stop it. So, go to Humble Bundles. And why do I say that? I say that because every once in a while they have game bundles, they have book bundles, the software bundles. Sometimes I check out the software. They got interesting stuff. If you're thinking of like getting into game development, you're thinking of learning something. Oh, how does Unreal 5 work? You can come in here, pay a certain amount. Their value is way more than you end up paying for, and you get really interesting software. Either be software or books or learning materials or CBTs, the whole thing. But I focus on games, and all these things, they give money, half of it to themselves, half to charity. And in this time, I saw a bunch of really cool deals. I put some of them on Twitter. My one that I specifically chose was the Humble Heroines bundle, which is this guy right here, which has a bunch of games that kind of came on my radar, and either for one reason or another, I missed it, or I didn't play it, or I played a little bit and really wanted to go back.
That's a good bundle.
This was in Game. Eastwood was in Game Pass. Never got a chance to play it. Wanted Dead looks super cool with all the gun kata with swords. I heard it didn't catch fire for most people, but it's something I just wanted to try. I just didn't want to pay full price for it. Metal Hellsinger is awesome. I love that game. It is Doom, but with heavy metal, and the heavy metal matters.
I love that game.
I love that game. It's really cool. And of course, Plague Tale, Scars Above is an awesome indie that really shot above its AAA. It shot AAA shot, although it was a AA budget. And of course, Chorus, which I say is like insanely underrated.
That
It is
Scars Above,
awesome.
it was being compared. Scars Above, wasn't that being compared to that PlayStation game? What's the name?
Returnal.
Returnal. What it was being
Yes.
compared to that, right?
Yes, it definitely has Returnal vibes. Vibes. It's interesting. I didn't get a chance to play either. I touched and moved on from a lot of these. I never really got a chance to play them, and most of them were in Game Pass, and I may have not struck when it was available to me. So the games are now no longer in Game Pass. What I do have in my collection right now is A Plague Tale: Innocence. So please be kind. If if you already have a copy of it, pass it on. Let somebody else who has not tried it get a shot. But this right here is a code for Plague Tale: Innocence on Steam, coming to you right now.
Nice.
So if you get a chance to check it out, if you got it, let me know you got it. Let me know how you enjoy it. Them rats, boy. Ooh, too many
And if
rats.
nobody
But
wants
it's a free
it,
game.
I'll take it. How about that?
Well, there you go. So at the end, if nobody else takes it, Mr. John Wolf will.
Me and my bad gut
it
here.
is there for you. If you want, check out the Humble Bundles. There are a lot of great deals out there. I check this out from time to time, and I get some really, really cool stuff like this. So
I bought
check
that
out
other
this
bundle that you showed us off today in the DM.
Let's
I
go
got
back
the
this one. Yeah.
yeah, the one with the what is it? It was with
This
all
is
the Saints Row.
the Playtime ones. Yes, it's all the Saints Row. The red faction. The reason why I didn't get this is because the only game I don't have in this list that I haven't played in this list, well, I've played it, but I don't have it currently in my collection, is Red Faction 2. Besides that, I have all of them, and I love like Red Faction, the remastered edition, freaking awesome.
Oh yeah,
like,
it is awesome.
This is a game that came out in 360 and everything was destructible. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
The whole world, you could just smash through. Awesome game. So much fun.
And
so
the reason I picked it up is because I don't own these games on Steam, which I'm well over 400 games now.
Sure,
but those Saints Row games, man, they were a lot of fun, and that's the Saints Row that everybody loves.
And check out this other bundle. I didn't even put this out there. This is the
I got
Boomer
this one
Shooter
too.
bundle.
I got this one too.
Excellent.
Yep.
So, pro tip: check out Humble Bundle. There you go. Now you're asking me, what system do I really dislike?
Yes, in
gaming.
Like
a system that if you put it in, I don't like it.
Yeah, you immediately roll your eyes, or you're like, oh, here we go.
If you give me any survival mechanics, I'm out. I don't play Ark. Like, oh, you have to eat, you have to sleep. Oh, you have to, you start off with nothing, and it's you against the elements, and then you have to build up.
Yeah.
I play games not to stress myself out, but to de-stress, to power fantasize. So if you put me in a game where all the elements are against you and you got nothing, and it takes a time to traverse to get something, I won't stick with it enough to get that something. I want to feel powerful.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to feel, you can give me a challenge, but I need to feel powerful in that world, because that's what I'm coming to this game for. I want that power fantasy. So if you put me on a beach naked with my arms, and I'm literally talking about Ark right now, Ark Survival Evolved,
naked and afraid.
You put him on the beach, naked and afraid, and all you got are your mitts, and everywhere are what do you call it, dinosaurs. I'm like, I'm sure eventually I'll get the gold-plated armor, I'll get the diamond, just like freaking Minecraft or whatever. But I'm not there to traverse the divide to get there. I'm like, ain't nobody got time for this. I need to go play someplace and shoot guns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Lucius Augusta says that's why I immediately checked out on No Man's Sky for that same reason. But he didn't check out on Starfield.
No
so
believe it or not,
stop
it. I like No Man's Sky because they weren't as debilitating in the beginning. You had a ship. You the minute you landed, you got a ship. Like the ship was there. You just have to prep it up and get it ready. It does have a lot of those mechanics as well. And before it became debilitating, it's a genre I love. Being able to take off into space and this and that. So I was able to traverse that device a little bit. And I think at the time that game came out, I was more able and capable of doing so. But like in general, like if you have one of those systems, if you're very much, you have to survive all the time, like with systems and what do you call it? A lot of check marks. Oh, now you're hungry. Oh, now you need to sleep. Oh, now I'm just like, Get me out of here. That's
Yeah.
me.
How about one that you really like? That like if a game has it, you're like, oh yes, this is exactly my jam.
I like games that know their games.
Mm.
And I like the and I'll say like my number one, like the one I'll point to. Well, I'll give you two. One that you'll understand exactly, and the other one that maybe you won't understand quickly. You mentioned it today. Well, I mentioned it. Assassin's Creed Origin, Odyssey.
Mhm.
Right. I love that at the beginning of that game, yeah, you're feeling your way through it, but at some point they're like, yeah, we know this is a game. While you're on your horse and you're riding through the level, just keep holding down B and you'll just collect everything you come across.
Yeah.
You ain't got to get down, get off your horse, pick it up. No, they know it's a game. At some point, Cassandra can jump from the freaking mountain and land like ding, and then keep
Yep.
it moving.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I was doing that.
I enjoy games that are games, right? We're not there to give you realism. There are good fun to be had in realism, but I enjoy games that are like just so game that they don't care. Sunset Overdrive, right? Awesome locomotion, makes no real sense, but when you got it going and you're basically traversing the entire city and your feet never touches the ground because you're using the umbrella to go underneath things and you're sliding and you right? I love games that focus so much on the game that even if it messes up some of the realism, who cares? You're playing a game. I enjoy that stuff a lot.
So is that something that you feel that may keep you away from Dragon's Dogma in the long term? Like the fact that your apples are going bad while you're fighting a creature, etc.
In the long term, so that's another thing that we can then hark back to Dragon's Dogma with. In the long term, after the wow, I can't believe all the systems on display here wears off to the point where it's just becoming detrimental to my enjoyment, then I'll whip out the old Wii mod.
There you go.
And I will make sure that encumbrance is gone. I'll make sure that, that certain things still keep the challenge, because why play if you're going to be Superman in every world?
No, but you cater the game to your enjoyment, and it's
exactly.
and the thing is that
and what I try to do real quick, I try to make sure that if I'm playing a game with a story, I always want to play it to completion before I start fiddling. Cyberpunk, for example, I beat the whole game and then I turned Spider-Man on, and now I can climb every single wall and go to the roof of every place. Then I turn Superman on. I can literally go like Neo and go grab and go steal a car that's flying in the air. I can do that now. But I didn't do that when I first started the game because I wanted to play it the way they intended.
Yeah. I'm the same as you. I kind of wait to like complete the game, and then I use it for two reasons. Number one, if I just am not clicking with a game, but it's something keeping me from clicking, I'm like, look, I spent the money. I want to beat this thing, and I'm not gonna let this one element of the game keep me from.
Yeah.
So that's one way I'll use it, or another way I'll use Wiimote is like, for example, for me, a game system that we still see it a lot, not as much, but we still see it a lot, and they just have to figure out a better way to do this. Escort missions, man. These escort missions where you do nothing wrong, you're holding up your own weight, but the person or the NPC that you have to protect can't even hold their own. Super annoying when you have to restart stuff because of that. They need to just do away with that or recreate it. Like, just think of something better to do. Like, for example, it would be great if, like, if you can give the NPC one of your weapons and say, hey, listen, you're going to defend yourself. Here you go. Here's a powerful weapon. You be as strong as I am, stuff like that, or kind of recreate what I do. And then.
So, kind of in Dragon's Dogma, you can kind of do that.
That's pretty cool.
Hand them their weapon, they do their thing. You can hand them different potions or different materials, and they'll craft for you.
You see?
They'll invent. They are actual NPCs that are useful to you.
That's awesome. Cool. That's awesome. Now, I also hate and I know I'm throwing two in here, but they kind of go hand in hand.
Oh yeah.
I also hate timed things. Like when you get like, I hate the fact that you're telling me that I only have 45 seconds or a minute and 15 seconds to get to this part of the map and press this button, whatever. I feel like that is such a superhero movie trope where you always have to press a button on a machine to stop the end of the world. Like stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's old already. And then something that
this is my build, by the way, that I'm showing on the screen here. This is
nice.
what I'm looking at right now. I call it the fish tank build because it's got only 3 sides, not 4. So it's glass cool. On 3 sides. Continue. Yes.
Very cool. And then one element that I really, really like is when you like in games that respect the time that you have put into them. Like for example, if you have an assortment of weapons that you spent the time getting, the weapons matter in certain places of the game. Like a game that I think did that really well was the Ninja Theory Devil May Cry game. I think that as you collected weapons and power-ups through that game, they mattered. And they made it be so that you always went back to a certain weapon or incorporated enemies that you had to kill with a certain weapon. I like that because I find myself always in games where I'm collecting a bunch of stuff and then I never use it. I'm like, okay, I collected all this stuff, but I haven't found a good use case for it. And I think that when the design is done in that way that you use what you have, it's nice. It feels like if what you did mattered. So those are my 2.
The systems that reward you for that. I hear games like Elden Ring were really good at that, where your build really mattered in the long run. You could max it out. Really cool. One other thing before we get out of here. People hear us talk about WeMod all the time. That is basically a trainer aggregator where like they have a network. You install one app and that app keeps updating itself with new games that come out and add trainers to it. What are trainers? Trainers are little applications that go in the background of your game and trigger save states or lock states or freeze states so that you can, instead of the background stuff going down or up based on your health or your number of arrows or whatever, it'll freeze it. So now you have infinite health. It'll freeze it. So now you have infinite arrows. Or you can even mod it up, do interesting things, right? If you don't want to go full bore into WeMod territory, you can use a website called Fling Trainer, Fling Trainer. And as you can see on your screen, here is the aforementioned Forbidden Sleep. People keep calling it Forbidden Sleep, so I'm gonna call it Forbidden Sleep.
Oh, you saw it has a wake up. It has a wake up mode there that you don't fall asleep until 30 minutes into the game.
So these are some of the features that it offers: God mode, infinite this, infinite that, super damage. You can literally start the game from day one, and every shot you take with your arrow is 99.99999% power. So like everybody just dies to your arrow, right? You can do that if you so choose. It's no fun in my opinion because now you're just kind of breaking the game. What's no fun?
Or Aloy can talk to them and put them to sleep. I mean,
but to traverse the divide for things like the games, the stuff inside, for example, Dragon's Dogma, you don't want to deal with all the encumbrance. You don't want to deal with all this max stamina. You can do a bunch of different things. And as the game matures, people find more and more cool, interesting use cases for it. So if you are one of those people who are like, screw these microtransaction crap, you can come in here, edit your own experience level. You can come in here, add whatever you want to add. You can add larger base defense, anything you want to do. I personally have not done any of these because I haven't finished the game yet. And I'm not going to mess with this stuff until I finish the game because I just feel like that's what I do. But as long as you're doing it to a single player game, I believe nobody should have any smoke for you. If you're doing in a multiplayer game,
no, don't do it.
Your fault.
Don't do it in multi. That's crappy. Don't use cheats in multiplayer games because I mean, come on. But in single player, it's fair game. Create the fun that you want to create, man. It's your game, so it's your character.
Paid for it. If it's too much time and the microtransactions are getting to you and they're annoying you or whatever, there are options. You don't know how to do it, holla at your boy. DMs are always open. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, and this Fling Trainer is actually how to get some of these trainers on the Steam Deck, because WeMod
Mhm.
isn't very friendly with the Steam Deck, and I've seen
Yes.
tutorials and guides and stuff, and I still have
Mhm.
not been able to install it to this day. It's very
Yep.
tricky. So these
Yep.
Fling
Yep.
trainers do come in handy.
Yep. And that's what brought about. Remember, I told you the new update happened.
Yeah,
Now in the command line, if it detects your game, it'll just come here, find the same game, and then bing, right there, you have
dude,
the trainers to use it.
that is awesome.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, that
it's
is
quite
that is
interesting.
cool. So all right, Kay, I think that'll put we'll put a pin on episode 30, man. Thank you so much. I can't believe that we're 30 episodes in. I'm sorry for the low energy again. I the gut's not doing too
I
well
hear you,
today,
bro. I hear
so
you, bro.
I
Go deal with that.
yeah, so I'm gonna definitely check it out. Hopefully everything's okay. But thank you, Kay, and thank you, Chad, for everything. It was a lot of fun today, man, and a great conversation. So,
Yeah,
Kay,
I agree, brother.
let the good folks know where you're going to be for the rest of the week. What shows are you going to be guesting on? And of course, I know you have a GCP coming up this weekend. I don't know if you have any guests lined up for that yet, or you're just going to do a 1-2 combo of you and Everborn. Let the good folks know what you're going to be up to.
So first and foremost, thanks to everybody who's been checking out these shows. We've done 30 of these at this point. I'm quite proud of us.
A little bit
Pretty
more,
cool that we've done
because
it.
we did a couple of betas.
We've done, but officially we've done 30. I think we're about 32, 33, something like that.
Yeah,
34
something like
at
that.
most. But no, it's good that it's a good little benchmark to hit. We're on our way. We're not stopping. This is awesome. I love chatting with you specifically about gaming and handheld gaming. Maybe we'll lean a bit more into the handheld side of the market, since that is seeming to become more into fruition since we hear Microsoft getting into the business, and in other news, water is wet. But you can catch me this Wednesday, primetime gaming, Mr. Boomstick and friends. We'll be talking about all things gaming as we do. This weekend, I do possibly have a guest lined up. We'll see if that I'm waiting for it to materialize. Also, I'm doing something very cool and interesting this weekend. For all the members that are in our chat, and thank you guys so much for being members. We appreciate you. It helps the show. It keeps me going. It keeps like us getting the updates for the equipment that we need and things like that. As I speak to you right now, I have a key light, this one right here, and then this one's broken, so now I have to go get another key light. But thanks to members, I can use the funds that have been equated, and I can do that. And we're doing giveaways. We're doing all this other fun stuff that we're going to do with that as well. If you heard, I did a small contest to see who has the most time in Starfield, so you can get yourself a Vasco. One of the gentlemen in the UK won with 57 or whatever days. So I'm gonna send him his Vasco. It should be fun. Appreciate all you guys for your continued support, whether it's super chats or memberships or just kind of hanging out and telling people that we are here. It is awesome. I appreciate y'all. So this weekend we will be instituting, if you happen to be one of the higher tier members, one of the membership features is we will reach out to you. You have a question, you want to join our panel and be a part of one of the segments, or do you have a question that you've always wanted to bring to the conversation? Bring it on board and we'll get it done. I have reached out to the one JD Gamer. He'll be our first. So I'll see if I can get JD on the show. The man is prolific in these here gaming streets. You've heard of his name. He's always out there with the pork, begging pony stuff. That's JD Gamer. So I'm gonna see if I can get him on the show this weekend. Yeah, he can jump in for a quick session and give us his takes on the gaming world and whatnot. I would appreciate that.
That's amazing.
But come check us out this weekend, Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself, Mr. Everborn Saga. There will be a guest and most likely JD as well.
Nice, man. So yeah, I'm John Wolf, guys. Everywhere you guys know to hit me up on Twitter, X, and all gaming platforms. John Wolf, exactly how it's spelled there. I plugged to plug our Discord. I put it there in the chat. K. Today, I mean, this is why the Discord is so great. Not only do we have good conversations in there, but we also have these impromptu GCP gamers playground.
I walked
episodes.
In on y'all just kind of doing one of these things, crying on each other's shoulders.
Yeah, pretty much. Today we were just jumped on for a few minutes before the show, and I kind of led a conversation as to whether or not the Xbox handheld was the shot in the arm that Xbox needs, because apparently the energy is low around the Xbox brand. Yeah, so we have conversations like that as gaming news comes about the day. Sometimes we'll jump in and we'll have these long,
Ooh,
conversations. So
one thing I forgot to mention, and I think you know this, sir, but maybe the public does not. I will be at Gamescom this year. Germany, baby.
Yes.
2024. I'll be at Gamescom. This will be in August. More to come there. But if you're gonna be at Gamescom, or because Gamescom, like as I hear it, 300,000 people, like it's just madness.
that's crazy.
You know, it's madness. I hear it's just crazy town. The amount of people that show up and all of this. If you happen to be at Gamescom, you want to meet, want me to pay for the first beer, holla at me. Let's go. I want to meet the people. So if you're anywhere near Gamescom, you want to hang out. More to come on that.
Careful, Kay. I mean, you might have 30 people show up, and then you got to buy 30 beers there. So
I'll be too drunk to care. I'll worry about the wallet later.
I got you. All right. So if you do join our Discord, do not join the Switch channel. You will be.
There is no Switch channel. It's called the Abacus chat.
The Abacus, exactly. If you want to talk Switch and inferior hardware, go right ahead. And Mr. Joanna Dark is literally the only person in there. Go right ahead.
Stop it.
At least he won't be lonely. But thank you guys so much. It's been a great episode, guys. We'll catch you next week. A lot of good stuff to play, guys. So look forward to next week's conversation. Peace.
Peace, man.